What's up with y'all? How you guys doing, man? It's good seeing you guys again.
All right, guys, we'll get started in just a second. Arnie, if you want to lead us off, your line's on you to go ahead, please.
Phil, good seeing you again.
You as well, man.
Hey, tell me how the acquisition of Melvin has fueled your fire for this season.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I've had the same fire my whole time, from first time I stepped here till now. I don't need another man to fuel my fire. I know what I want for my family, and that's what fuels me. So for me, honestly, like nothing changes. I go out there and I produce when my numbers call. I make big plays like I always have, and I go from there.
Next up, Troy Ring. Go ahead, Troy.
Phil, good to see you, man. Hope the offseason treated you well. Congratulations on becoming a father.
Thank you.
With this offense, have you been able to get a feel for what your role might be, and where do you stand in terms of pass catching from a year ago? How much do you think you've improved in that regard?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this offense for me, it's kind of the same. For me, like at the end of the day, there's only so many runs and passes you can do. It's about executing. It's about being patient. It's about developing a relationship with your lineman. So for me, I mean, I don't worry about that. I know what I'm going to do. I know, I'm going to have explosive plays because that's just who I am. Pass catching wise, I feel really good. Actually, I'm pretty much back. I feel like I'm back to myself. I mean, the year before I came off my wrist injury, and it was tougher than I thought. I thought the wrist injury wasn't going to be as bad as it was, and it was. But this year, I feel good. I feel good, and at the end of the day, I'm gonna catch every ball that comes my way, and that's it. There's nothing else I can say about that.
Next one, Mike Kliss. Go ahead, Mike.
Hey, Phillip. Two questions here. One, those guns look a little bigger. What?
Yeah, I gained about 10 pounds.
About 10 pounds of muscle?
Yeah, 10 pound muscle. Feel good, feel fast. I just felt like I said, that wrist injury really did a toll on me when it came to working out, because I came from having to sit out for 4 or 5 months to just rushing right into camp. So I didn't get that development like I did this year. So I feel really good. I feel healthy. I feel explosive. And I feel like I'm going to have a hell of a season this year.
And then the other thing, are the COVID protocols prevalent, like in everyone's minds, from the moment you walk in and you get the test, getting that tracer? I mean, is it like everywhere? Is it what all you guys think about?
I mean, I think that, we're all getting tested every single day. So it kind of, you still have that sense of like good feeling that that the person next to you doesn't have it right now. And so you feel kind of normal. You just got to do the protocol stuff. You got to wear your mask all the time. You got to wear the tracers, which tells you to stay away from somebody, for a certain amount of time. But like right now, I think it's coming to the new norm. And the thing is, you got to adjust, and I think we've done a really good job of adjusting, staying clean. The staff, up from the janitors to all the coaches, have been doing a phenomenal job of keeping us safe and cleaning right after us and stuff like that. So, I mean, honestly, I feel like the janitors should get a pay raise for what they have to do to keep this place running.
Next up, Rennie Cristall, followed by Kyle Newman. Rennie, go ahead.
Hey, Phillip, congrats on your baby boy. And that's kind of the question I wanted to ask. It's a little early to tell, but how much has that changed who you are, certainly as a person? And do you think it'll have an effect on how you approach your game of football?
No, definitely. I mean, you guys who have kids understand. You don't understand until you have kids. Like, it's different, and your mindset changes. You already have to be, you have more responsibility. So you got to make sure that you handle that. On top of that, you understand that you have another mouth to feed. So for me, it's business, and I have to handle my business so that my son can have a good future for himself and have a good place to call home and things like that. And I'm not going to be the reason why he doesn't do that.
Next up, Kyle Newman, followed by Nick Kosmider. Kyle, go ahead, please.
Hey, Phil. So obviously a lot of expectations and hype around Drew Lock this year. What kind of onus do you put on yourself and I guess maybe the running back room overall to take some of that pressure off and make sure he can fulfill those expectations?
Yeah, I mean, this is a team game. I mean? Like that's what people don't understand is, we all have to be firing on cylinders. We all have to do our part. you know, and when it's time for me to go in there, it's making sure that I do my part and make sure that he's protected when he's in the game, make sure I'm doing my assignment. You know, everybody has their assignment. Everybody's getting paid to do what they're supposed to do, so we all need to do it. And if collectively we all do that together, you know, Drew will do a really good job. But, you know, it's going to take some time for him to continue to develop this like any other young player. You know, he's looking really good out there, you know, but like I said, we get into these games and, you know, it's just about repetition. It's about getting in there with each other, getting the feel. We have, a bunch of new players, new teammates. And, you know, it takes a little time to gel. That's why, you know, we're in here doing this together now. And, you know, so when we get on the field, we can have some explosive plays.
Next up, Nick, followed by Andrew Mason. Nick, go ahead, please.
Phillip, thanks for taking the time. I'm just curious about this offseason when you were trying to get whatever workouts you could with other guys going. What was that challenging in terms of just the logistics of everything, of figuring out when you could do it and how to safely do it as well? Yeah,
I mean, it definitely was challenging because you don't know who has the COVID. You don't know the protocols like that. It is real, and at times when you don't have the symptoms and stuff, you feel like, that hasn't happened to you when you just go on about yourself until you start to hear about it closer to you. Then you kind of start getting a little nervous. But we were able to social distance ourselves, make sure that, we communicate with each other if one of us was not feeling good to not go out there and just get that work in, and I think that it really helped Drew mature, get to know some of his new players. For me, it helped me get my hands back where it was my rookie year and in college, feeling good. And you need that repetition. And, for me, I'm happy I was able to get it with him. And I think he's happy too because you get the feel of what you need to do. We just been in the meetings all day with the Zoom and, people are just telling you what to do. But you got to really go out there and do it and execute it so that you can tweak things and see really how it is.
Next up, Andrew Mason, followed by Ron Mackey. Andrew, go ahead.
Two-part question. First of all, after the last couple of years, do you feel like the torch of leadership is being passed into the hands of the younger players like you? And then the second part, for you specifically, what have you learned the last couple of years that will bear itself out in the kind of leadership you're going to show?
Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, I do think that it's being passed our way. And honestly, we needed the younger dudes came up and we were a much more mature, younger team at the time. And now I think that it's just time for us to hold each other more accountable. And we have more say now. We can talk, we can voice our opinions more than when we first started. And, the second part of that question is, you get to know each other. You guys, this is, you're in the NFL. You're around a bunch of grown men that understand what they need to do to stay on this team because everybody needs to feed their family. So it's not about babysitting or telling somebody, you need to do this, you need to do that. It's about holding people accountable. And when they start to kind of fall off or slip, you kind of, talk to them about it and get them right back on the same level as you. And if we do that with each other at good times and bad times, we're going to be just fine. We've been through a lot. The younger kid class, we've been through, winning some games, losing some games and then being in tough games. So now all you can do now is put all that together and come out on top and win a lot more games than you lose. And I think the leadership we have this year, it should happen. And, it's not just one person. It's all of us holding each other accountable. It's not just on Bonds to tell, it's about all of us being on the same page. And so I think that this year that you're going to see a more mature team all around because your third-year players are going to be older now. We're a lot of us will continue to peak. You got some older players that's already here, and you got some younger ones that can watch the middle to the older ones. That's going to make their game come a lot faster than even us at a young age.
Next up, Rod Mackey, followed by Troy Rank. Rod, go ahead, please.
Phil, nice to see you. It seems that the NFL, the Broncos, we see all these great safety protocols they put in place. But what are your feelings when you watch all these colleges that you played for, played against, with all this news of seasons being canceled? What's it like for you to see this?
I mean, honestly, man, it's scary. And for those kids, they don't have the protocols that we have. They don't have the money to get tested every day and to have this people come in here and clean it, every day. And you have a bunch of kids that aren't going to just sit there and listen and stay at home and do stuff like that. They're going to be all around, especially if they got to go to class, they got to do this, So, until they, honestly, I've seen it coming, and until they can come up with something, I don't think that those kids should play because it is real. I've seen people, close to me that have been in the hospital for 7, 8, 9 days, and it's scary. It really is. And I understand where these kids are coming from, but at the end of the day, it's also about being healthy, and it's about doing the right thing. And I think that they should have their eligibility back to be able to play. But it's hard. Here it's easier because there's not as many kids or many men here, and we have the money to do it. The NBA has the bubble. They have the money to do it. These kids don't have the money. They're not giving these kids the money and the tools so that they can be safe. You're just telling the kid to go out there and play for our satisfaction. That's not cool. And that's how I feel about it.
Now we got time for a couple more. Next up, Troy Wright.
Phillip, when I ask you this, it seems too much, but I'll ask you again. Are the days of 17 points over a game? And what's it like to have Hamler and Judy, two guys who might be as quick as you on this offense?
Yeah, definitely, man. That's the goal. The goal is, this game is hard, and, there's a lot of expectation, and that's the problem sometimes with the media is they want to blow things up and they want to make it something, crazy to get everybody involved. But it's going to take some time. But, yes, I do think that we're going to put up, our points, and we have a solid defense that's going to be able to, hold people. When it comes to the rookies, they just got to, they are fast. But for them, this is big. We ain't got preseason games, okay? And the fact is, you're dealing with, like I said, grown men that are getting paid to do this. And nobody's just going to let somebody just make it look bad. So they're going to have to come in and really, really adjust. And in practice, they're going to have to work their butts off so that they can get into the game shape, because none of them are going to be able to play a football game, let alone an NFL football game. So it's up to the older dudes to make sure that they're doing okay and, and do their part so that they can easily gradually get into it so that they can be successful. You don't want to put somebody out there and them not be successful, and then you have the media jumping all on them. So it's going to be very important for them to really take the mental reps and really listen.
Last two, Zach Stevens and Arnie Stapleton. Zach, go ahead.
Hey, Phil, thanks for talking with us. What do you think your dynamic will be with Melvin on the field? Do you think you guys will have specific roles, or will it be the hot hand approach?
I wish I could let you know and tell you now. I don't know. At the end of the day, that's not my job to sit there and put me or Melvin in the game. That's their job. If they don't want to have one of their game changer or game playmakers in the game, that's on them. I don't get paid to sit there and call the plays and stuff. That's not my job. My job is when I get the ball, when I'm in the game, to make an explosive play. And that's how I think about it. For me, it's like I never needed 15, 25, a bunch of carries. I just need to get a couple of carries, that fit me, and I'm explosive with it. And that's what I'm going to continue to do. And that's all you're going to get from me. Bronco, the fact is that I'm going to continue to make Bronco Country proud by what I do, and that's be fiery and everything else. I can't control anything else. I can't control what people do and how they act and what they think about me, but I can control myself in making plays, and I've always been successful making plays.
Last one, Arnie Stapleton.
Hey, Phillip, you mentioned no preseason games. This is the first time the NFL is going to go into a regular season without having, some exhibitions. So I'm wondering, if how you think that's going to affect. Is that something that's on the top of your mind? And then secondly, the officials, the referees, would usually kind of knock the rust off in the preseason and get going in the regular season. Now they're going to, go straight into the season. They won't be visiting you guys at camp. Is that anything that's on the top of your guys' mind?
Yeah, first with the preseason, it is important for the preseason games because it does knock the rust off. It does get you kind of tuned up and ready to play. But the thing is this, we're all in the same boat. It's not just the Broncos, it's everybody in the whole NFL. So we're all going to be in it together. So it's whoever took this virtual Zoom stuff seriously, whoever outside of here was working out, and whoever can stay healthier. And with the bad part about this year is not only are you fighting the injuries on the field, you're fighting the COVID stuff too. So it's about making sure that you're doing stuff on and off the field truly, if you want to be able to be successful as a team. For the refs, I think that with this being said, they're going to let a lot more, they're going to let us bang a little bit more because they haven't had the time to really adjust and really see. So it's going to take some time for them to, their eyes and everything to come together to get these plays. So I can see it more playing out more physical, more letting things slide at the beginning until they get a couple film studies in with each other and they start to nip stuff in the butt. I can see it being more let them play, just let it ride, let it play, unless it's some blatant stuff that has to be called. I think that they're gonna let us play, which is a good thing.